the show talking about Chrissie Mayr, and I was just like, why am I still the fucking bad guy from that whole merger?
Well, you fucking wanted to be the Terminator. You wanted to go in there and lop off heads with a smile. Are you still the bad guy?
Well, they're not inviting me on their shows.
Well, this is true. That could just be because, you're Hitler.
Yeah.
But I'm like fucking Goebbels. I'm Himmler. Like, why does Himmler get to do the show, but Hitler, you draw the line?
I guess. That's my point. Yeah, exactly. Well, the moral of the story is sugarcoat it. I don't know.
Yes.
Times have changed, and the 1980s, this is how it is. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It doesn't earn you any favors. I should have just said, well, you've been making insane amounts of money, and I don't really see that as economically viable. But if you can think of a way where it is economically viable, I'm all ears.
Yeah.
And certainly they can see the income now and go, oh, okay, I guess, I don't deserve massive amounts of cash every year.
Ooh, see, it's saying things like that. This could be why you're not doing certain shows, like saying, well, do you see your income now? And this is why. You're pretty much saying you're not getting any viewers. What you do must suck.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying.
But as long as everyone has something to measure it to that is worse, like Opie.
Right.
So you can look at that and go, here's a guy that was a big radio star. He had a huge radio show, along with myself, of course, and Jim Norton. And me and Jim Norton are doing things, and we're getting views and doing all right. So you could always measure yourself to that and go, well, at least I'm getting more views than him.
Yeah. I mean, I'm joking when I say they suck. I like Chrissie Mayr. I love Gino. I even like Garrett and Steve's show. But if they were busting their ass and doing like a show a day and doing live streams and doing like Tim Pool levels of ambition and spending some money on a studio that looks great, yes, I think they'd be making, not crazy money, and probably not what they were making under you, but they would be making a lot more. But they seem to be sort of throwing their hat in the ring. Now I'm making it worse, Jesus.
You're making it a little worse. It's easier when you can just do a show because you're under the umbrella of something else. Like, that's why Compound and Censored, of course, worked so well for a lot of shows, because they're not, and I wasn't either. I'm not a management guy. I don't know, run a fucking company. And, the reason people, it's not much of an excuse for not having a viable studio. You don't even need a studio space. Like, this is in my house. I make sure the cameras are good and whatnot. But, you don't have to be a business owner to put together a show or have some ambition to do it every day at a certain time, And I think Garrett and Steve, they do a show every day at the proper time, don't they? At the same time, do they?
Look that up, Jamie. Do they do a show every day?
I don't even know.
Well, the other problem is when you're so well paid that you go back out into the real world from scratch, which I've done like 15 times, and it's disheartening. Like, or even your sport, like Conor McGregor. He's got so much money now. The idea of going into the gym and, not drinking the night before and then wrestling around on the mats and getting in the fucking leg lock with some sweaty Russian.
Yes.
What's happening? Someone brought some sugar for the Ant-Man?
No, I needed to, that's better. I had white pages opened on my computer. And it was getting very strong white light
it was.
on the side of my face. Still is.
I noticed that.
It's this side. Could be. Whatever.
But check the frequency, Kenneth.
This is on Patreon.
Oh, no.
So you can't exactly see the frequency. On YouTube, it doesn't seem to be too frequent, but...
What's this that you're pulling out?
This is Patreon. That's what they link to.
Patreon. So
okay.
You can't check frequency there?
I guess you could. Oh, okay. Yeah, it looks fairly frequent.
Yeah. You've never heard of scrolling?
I've never been on Patreon, really. Sorry.
Okay.
Scrolling.
This might be the problem with our comedy tour. You go to the page, and it just shows cartoon scrotum, and you have to scroll to see L.A.,
Yeah.
All right, so Opie and Chrissie Mayr and the other compound shows getting a trashing by Cumia and Gavin McGinnis. Gavin is still pissed that he's perceived as the bad guy. And I say rightfully so. Look, I called that Cumia was going to give up that network and just go take a job with Gavin, which essentially he did. And they were going to get rid of every Compound Media show and just Cumia was going to go there. I called it, and I was right. And Gavin's right. The only show people watched was Cumia's show. Other people watched, like, Chrissie Mayr's show, but I think mainly on YouTube. And she was smart and built up her YouTube channel, whereas Gino and all the other people at Compound Media were just like, hey, we do a show at Compound Media. That's all we need to do. Chrissie Mayr was actually smart in the fact that she went and built up another presence outside of of Compound Media. So when Cumia ends Compound Media, she wasn't just completely dependent on that. But yeah, good trashing they gave to Opster though, and at the beginning they showed off some Ant-Man merch. I for some reason want the Ant-Man hat. Pour some sugar out for the Ant-Man. It's hilarious that this Ant-Man thing is actually becoming a thing. But, I mean, Garrett and Steve do the Patreon stuff. I couldn't tell you what Gino's doing. But, here's the other thing, though. Like, Gavin's acting like Cumia was paying Chrissie Mayr and Gino and all these other guys an exorbitant amount. Exorbitant? What? An exorbitant amount of money. Where I don't think that, like, maybe, like, Garrett was getting paid decent money, but I think Garrett's getting paid decent money because he wasn't just doing a show. He was sort of running the technical aspects and, like, producing every show and everything. But, I mean, come on. How much was Cumia actually paying Gino? How much? No, seriously, I'm asking. Does anybody know? Because whatever it was, Gino should be happy he got paid that much. So, because Gino Bisconte doesn't make any money in comedy, so he should just be happy with what he got. So I kind of agree with Gavin on that. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.